The Galactic Council chamber froze as a distorted human distress signal crackled across every screen. Screams. Explosions. A child crying. Then, silence. A moment later, a new transmission arrived from Earth. No music. No emblem. Just a single sentence spoken in a voice so calm it chilled every species listening. To those responsible, humanity has shown patience for centuries. But today, we stop being civilized. Across the stars, empires trembled. Because when humans stop being civilized, entire worlds burn. The HFY 9 colony always began its mornings with quiet light. Twin suns rose over crystal plains, scattering golden reflections across the research domes and habitat towers. Dr. Mara Ellis watched the horizon from her lab window, tapping notes into her datapad as translucent glider creatures drifted on thermal currents. It was the sort of world humans cherished, quiet, cooperative, full of possibility. Morning cycle stable, Mara murmured, recording the behavior of a newly discovered bioluminescent fungus. 0 anomalies. Again. For years, HFY 9 had been the pride of the Human Scientific Coalition. A place built not for war, not for resource extraction, but for learning. The colony's motto, etched into the central tower, read, "Knowledge first, violence never." That was humanity's reputation in the galaxy now, diplomatic, thoughtful, annoyingly peaceful according to some species who found war more comfortable than conversation. Captain Rhys Calder stepped into the lab, helmet tucked under his arm. His uniform was crisp, dark blue with silver trim, the dress of a defense officer who hadn't drawn his weapon in months. "You're here early," he said. "I'm always here early," Mara replied without looking up. Rhys smiled, leaning over a console to glance at her data. "Still cataloging mushrooms?" "Fungi," she corrected. "And yes." The captain chuckled. "You know, sometimes I envy you scientists. You worry about spores and cell division. Meanwhile, I'm stuck monitoring anomaly reports from species that don't exist in this region." "You're bored," she said plainly. "I'm extremely bored." For a moment, the only sound was the hum of the environmental systems and Mara's typing. Then Rhys' expression shifted as he checked his wrist display. The smile faded. "Another one?" Mara asked, sensing the change. He nodded. "Unidentified energy spike on the far border. Same pattern we saw last week." Mara frowned. "The council's still saying it's just solar interference, right?" "That's what they're saying," Rhys muttered. But his eyes were hard. "It doesn't feel like solar interference." She tried to shake off the unease. The galaxy was big. Unknown signals happened. And HFY 9 was so far from hostile territory that statistically, they were safer here than anywhere. Still. Rhys finally exhaled, as if releasing the weight in his chest. "Anyway, nothing to worry about yet. Just be alert." "I'm always alert," she echoed him playfully. He grinned again, the tension softening. Then the base lights flickered. Just a heartbeat. Barely noticeable. Mara blinked. "That's unusual. Power grid fluctuation?" Rhys tapped his wrist display. "I'll check." The lights flickered a second time. Then a third. All at once, every console flashed red. "Warning, sensor network offline." "Warning, inbound anomaly approaching colony airspace." Rhys' breath caught. "That's not possible. The systems never." A deafening boom shook the dome. Equipment rattled. Glass cracked along the upper edges of the lab. Mara stumbled, grabbing the table. "Rhys, what was that?" He didn't answer. He was already dragging her toward the emergency exit. A voice erupted through the base intercom, distorted, panicked. "All personnel, unidentified vessels breaching atmosphere, shields failing, repeat, shields." Static swallowed the rest. Outside, through the half-shattered dome windows, burning streaks began cutting across the morning sky. Dozens of them. like falling stars, but moving far too fast. Mara felt her heart slam against her ribs. "Reese, those aren't meteors." Reese Calder put his helmet on, visor snapping shut. "No," he said quietly. "They're drop pods." The colony alarm wailed. Explosions thudded in the distance. Smoke rose from the northern habitats. Ashera 9, the peaceful jewel of human research, was under attack, and no one had any idea why. The colony's streets were chaos. Dr. Mara Ellis ran beside Captain Reese Calder as the ground trembled beneath their feet. Sirens wailed from every tower, drowning beneath the thunder of explosions. The usually pristine white walkways were choked with smoke and scattering civilians, families, researchers, engineers, all sprinting toward the shelters. "Reese!" Mara gasped, dodging falling debris. "Who would attack a research colony? We're not military." He didn't slow. "Doesn't matter. We need to get everyone underground. Move." Another impact, this one so close Mara felt the heat blast across her back. She turned just long enough to see a habitat dome split open like a cracked egg, flames belching outward. Screams. Real screams. Not recordings, not simulations, not exercises. Human screams. Reese grabbed Mara's wrist and pulled her behind a toppled transport vehicle. Above them, one of the burning streaks they'd seen in the sky slammed into the plaza, shaking the ground as armored plating peeled away from its sides. A drop pod. The shell hissed. Then split. Something stepped out. A towering creature covered in jagged chitin armor, its eyes glowing a predatory amber. 4 arms. 2 holding serrated rifles, 2 carrying blades shaped like hooked bones. Mara's breath froze. Reese whispered, "Vhar'tek." Mara had heard of the species only in passing, violent, expansionist, avoided by most of the Galactic Council. Known for one thing. They never left survivors. The Vhar'tek warrior spotted a group of fleeing colonists. And it laughed. A harsh, clicking roar that made Mara's stomach twist. The creature raised one rifle. Reese didn't hesitate. He leapt from cover, firing his sidearm. Blue plasma bolts slammed into the warrior's plated chest. 1, 2, 3. The Vhar'tek barely flinched. Its rifle turned toward Reese. "Get down," he shouted. Mara dove as a blast gouged a smoking hole into the pavement where Reese had stood moments before. He rolled behind a pillar, firing again, aiming for joints, eye sockets, anything soft. One bolt struck the creature's exposed throat. It staggered. Just enough time. "Run!" Reese shouted. "Get to the underground shelters." But Mara didn't move, not right away. Her eyes darted around the plaza. Civilians everywhere. Many injured. Many trapped. She choked on her own breath. "We can't leave them." "We won't," Reese said. "But if you stay here, I lose my scientist and my reason to fight." "Move." His voice cracked on the last word. Mara finally ran. The ground quaked as more drop pods slammed around the colony. From each, more Vhar'tek spilled out, laughing, roaring, spreading death. The sky itself seemed to bleed fire. Mara reached the first shelter entrance only to find it half collapsed, the heavy blast door jammed at an angle. Inside, terrified colonists pounded from below, unable to escape. "Help us. Please. Someone. We're coming." Mara called, dropping to her knees. She grabbed a nearby metal rod and tried to pry the door open. It groaned, moved an inch, but no more. A shadow fell over her. Mara froze. Slowly, she turned. Another Vhar'tek warrior towered above her, blade arms extended, mandibles spreading in a grin that promised death. Mara whispered, "No." The creature raised its blade. A single plasma bolt tore through its head. The warrior collapsed. Reese stood behind it, rifle smoking, breathing hard. "On your feet, Doctor," he barked. This isn't where you die. She stumbled up. Together, they forced the shelter door wide enough for the trapped colonists to scramble inside. A mother clutched her child as she passed Mara. A young engineer bowed shakily to Reese. A scientist screamed her partner's name until Reese physically pulled her through. Then, from the far side of the plaza, a sudden, bone-deep rumble. A massive Vhar'tek warship pierced the clouds, its central cannon charging. Reese knew instantly. His face drained of color. Mara, that's not orbital suppression. That's a planet cracker. Mara's breath caught. They're wiping us out, completely. He didn't answer. He didn't need to. The cannon fired. A pillar of light tore through the colony's eastern district. Buildings vaporized. Shockwaves hurled vehicles like toys. Mara was thrown off her feet. Her ears rang. Her vision blurred. Everything smelled like burning metal and ash. Through the haze, she saw the colony's communication spire, tall, proud, the heart of their research network, crumple as the beam severed it. Their only long-range link to Earth, gone. Reese dragged himself to her. Blood ran down his forehead. His voice was hoarse but urgent. Mara, listen to me. Run to the West Shelter. Seal it. Don't wait for me. No, she shouted. I'm not leaving you. He grabbed her shoulders. Eyes blazing. This isn't about me. If even one scientist gets out of here alive, this colony meant something. She shook her head. Tears blurred her sight. Reese, please. But he shoved her toward the path. Mara, go. Another explosion roared. A second warship descended. The sky was nothing but fire and falling metal. Mara ran, because he told her to. Because she had to. Because she still hoped someone might come to save them. She reached the West Shelter. The door hissed open. Dozens of colonists inside cried out for her to hurry. She turned for one last look, for Reese. A Vhar'tek fighter bomb slammed into the plaza. Where Reese had been. The shockwave knocked her backward into the shelter. The door slammed shut. Darkness. Silence. Then, the entire colony shook. As the Vhar'tek warships unleashed their final barrage. Mara screamed. Others screamed with her. HFY 9 burned. Above, the Vhar'tek broadcast a single message to all frequencies. Let the humans know. Their peace dies today. Then everything went black. The Galactic Council chamber was built to inspire awe. A vast, floating amphitheater suspended beneath a shimmering energy dome, with representatives from 57 species arranged in concentric tiers. The air smelled faintly of ozone and floral mist, an artificial calm meant to ease tensions. But today, nothing could ease the tension. Dozens of diplomats spoke at once, voices overlapping in a chaotic swirl. They wouldn't dare attack a human colony. The Vhar'tek have broken 3 treaties already. What was the human military doing? Sleeping? Demand reparations. Force negotiations. We must wait for Earth to respond before. A hologram flickered into view at the center of the chamber. The recovered footage from HFY 9. The screams. The fire. The Vhar'tek warships breaking the morning sky. The planet cracker beam tearing through the colony spire. The final transmission, Dr. Mara Ellis' shelter camera flickering as the ceiling collapsed. Many species looked away. Some covered their sensory organs in horror. Still others watched with cold calculation, weighing the political consequences. But a few smiled. In particular, Ambassador Kelrath of the HFY Dominion, a species notoriously wary of humanity's growing influence, leaned back in his chair. Tragic, he said lightly. But predictable. The humans spread themselves thin. Too idealistic. Too naive. A murmur of agreement rippled through factions already resentful of Earth's scientific rise. The council speaker, a crystalline entity known as Velum 3, resonated a low hum to call for order. We await Earth's official representative. They are late. A reptilian diplomat clicked his fangs. Humans are always late. They are emotional creatures, slow in crisis. An insectoid ambassador buzzed. They'll issue condemnations, demand apologies, perhaps request mediation. Kelrath nodded. But retaliation? Impossible. Humanity lacks the stomach for true war. Several others chimed in. They are civilized. They negotiate instead of fight. They follow rules. They fear escalation. In the back row, an elderly Ivorian scholar whispered to her aide. Fools. They have forgotten humanity's history. The chamber lights dimmed. A new portal opened, blue, silent, precise. No fanfare. A single human stepped through. Not a diplomat. Not an ambassador. A military figure. Admiral Talia Rains, commander of the Terran Defense Network. Her uniform was stark black with a silver Earth emblem, formal, authoritative, unreadable. Her boots echoed loudly on the glass floor as she walked to the central podium. Many representatives shifted uncomfortably. The humans never sent military officers to council meetings. Ever. Rain scanned the room with calm, steady eyes. The chamber fell silent. Velum 3's voice chimed softly, Admiral Rains of Earth. The council extends. No, Rain said quietly. Not today. The interruption shocked several delegates. Kelrath hissed. You stand before the council. You will show respect. Rains didn't look at him. Instead, she raised her hand. A hologram appeared, showing the Ashera 9 massacre from beginning to end. Unedited. Unfiltered. Every scream. Every explosion. Every death. Many delegates recoiled. A few cried out. Velum 3 lowered its crystalline head. When the footage ended, the chamber sat in stunned silence. Rains finally spoke. 12,000 civilians, she said. Families. Researchers. Children. Doctors. Peaceful individuals living under the protection of Earth. Ambassador Kelrath folded his arms. While tragic, one must consider diplomatic. Rain's gaze snapped to him. The air itself seemed to tighten. There will be no diplomacy. Gasps echoed. A dozen representatives protested at once. You cannot mean. Earth must follow protocol. You're overreacting. Retaliation will destabilize. Rains raised one hand. Everyone fell silent. Her voice dropped to a low, unwavering tone that carried across the chamber like a blade. Earth has issued one universal transmission. You will all receive it in the next 60 seconds. Is it a call for peace? One senator asked hopefully. No, Rain said. She turned away, preparing to step back through her portal. Ambassador Kelrath scoffed. What dramatic theater? What message could possibly justify this level of? The chamber comm systems activated simultaneously. Every device. Every console. Every beacon. A single human voice filled the air, cold, calm, emotionless. To the Vhar'tek Dominion. To all who condone their actions. Humanity has been merciful for centuries. But today, we stop being civilized. Silence. No breathing. No movement. Nothing. Then the voice continued. To the innocent, do not fear us. To the guilty, run. The transmission ended. The holograms dimmed. Admiral Rains gave the council one last look. Then she stepped back through the portal. Gone. For a long moment, the council chamber sat frozen in absolute stillness. Then the panic began. Humans have declared total war. They cannot, they wouldn't. Activate border shields. Evaluate frontier worlds. Warn the neutral zones, humans are mobilizing. What does stop being civilized even mean? But the Ivorian scholar from earlier spoke softly, more to herself than the council. It means, she whispered, that the galaxy is about to remember why Earth survived its own violent history. And why they were feared long before they were loved. Kilrath swallowed hard. All his earlier arrogance evaporated. A chill crept through the chamber. For the first time in generations, the galaxy genuinely feared humanity. The message from Earth spread faster than any hyperspace courier. It appeared in ship logs, diplomatic channels, public broadcasts, even private networks buried behind encryption. No one had seen a transmission cut through so many systems at once. No one knew how Earth had done it. Within minutes, the entire galaxy heard the same 21 words. Humanity has been merciful for centuries. Today, we stop being civilized. To the guilty, run. To the innocent, stay inside. And then, silence. The galaxy held its breath. Inside the Terran war room. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean rested a facility few in the galaxy even knew existed, the Abyssal Command Nexus, humanity's most secure military center. No windows. No sunlight. Just cold steel, holographic war maps, and the hum of supercomputers awakened from decades of peace. Admiral Talia Rain stepped into the operations hub. Report. A chorus of officers responded. Fleet 1 mobilizing. Ares-class dreadnoughts online. Orbital platforms shifting to wartime alignment. Stealth drone swarms launching. All AI battle algorithms activating. Earth's planetary shield at maximum capacity. General Kovacs looked up. The Overseer AI wants authorization for full-spectrum retaliation. Rains paused. Authorization for full spectrum meant a level of warfare humanity had promised never to use again, not after the Terran reunification wars centuries ago. She closed her eyes for a moment. Then opened them. Authorization granted. The war room fell quiet. Then. Full spectrum retaliation authorized. Deploying Terran Armada. Every screen flashed red. Lights dimmed. Earth had begun. The council chamber's main holographic table crackled to life, showing a star map of Vhar'tek territory. Impossible, whispered Speaker Velum 3. Human war fleets were already in motion. Not preparing. Not launching. Already there. How did they mobilize so quickly? A senator demanded. What technology allows near-instant fleet deployment? But the Ivorian scholar answered quietly. Humanity prepares for peace by preparing for the worst. They've been ready for centuries. Kilrath, who had mocked humanity hours earlier, now trembled visibly. This is madness. They will ignite a sector-wide war. No, the Ivorian said softly. They will end one. Inside the obsidian war citadel of the Vhar'tek Dominion, commanders gathered around a giant tactical sphere. The atmosphere buzzed with overconfidence. Humans bluff, snarled Warlord Graxvir. They pretend strength but lack it. Another general clicked his mandibles. Their colony died screaming. They did nothing. They always do nothing. An aide rushed forward. Warlords, urgent report. Multiple warp signatures detected near the border. Let them come, Graxvir growled. We will. Then the lights flickered. Briefly. The holographic sphere dissolved into static. Every Vhar'tek screen went black. A single Terran symbol appeared. Earth. A voice followed, not a shout, not rage, not fury. Just calm, cold clarity. You killed 12,000 of our civilians. You slaughtered families. You broadcast your pride. This message is your only warning. Lay down your weapons. Or we will take them from your cold, dead hands. The warlords roared with laughter. Bluster. Empty threats. They are weak. Until the aides updated the tactical display. Every symbol turned red. Every red symbol was human. Hundreds of ships. Thousands. 3 full armadas. And leading them, TNV Resolute. Humanity's oldest, most feared dreadnought. Graxveer felt the first tremor of doubt. But it was already too late. The humans arrived. On the border world Korvac, Vhar'tek gun batteries activated just in time to see a streak of light descend from orbit. It was not a missile. Not a kinetic rod. But something darker. A Shadow Lance, humanity's banned stealth projectile. It hit the battery without a sound. The entire facility simply vanished, erased cleanly from the surface without explosion, flame, or debris. A second lance struck the Vhar'tek command tower. A third hit their orbital refinery. Within 4 minutes, every Vhar'tek military installation on Korvac was gone. No civilian structures touched. No collateral damage. Nothing but terrifying precision. Human war doctrine in action. We do not kill who we do not have to. But those we must kill do not die slowly. Panic erupted across the stars. Humans have stealth weapons that bypass shields. They're striking military targets only. They're eliminating an entire empire's war machine. No species has this level of precision. How long have they been hiding this power? Meanwhile, human channels remained silent. No celebration. No boasting. No speeches. Just one quiet transmission from Earth. Operation Ashlight underway. Civilian casualties must remain at 0. No exceptions. Inside the bridge of the TNV Resolute, Admiral Raines watched icons blink off the map, each representing a disabled Vhar'tek military asset. Sector 7 clear, an officer reported. Sector 8 clear. Sector 9, enemy fleet attempting retreat. Raines' jaw tightened. Do we have transmission logs of their initial attack? She asked. Yes, Admiral. Overlay. The footage of Ashera 9 appeared on the bridge display, Reese Calder firing his last shots, Mara running toward the shelter, the colony erupting in flames. Raines' voice was steady. Open channel to all Terran forces. A chime sounded. Channel open. She spoke 6 words. For Ashera 9. Leave nothing standing. The order echoed across every ship. Human engines roared. Weapons charged. The galaxy watched in stunned silence as humanity, the peaceful, polite, diplomatic species, unleashed the wrath it had held back for centuries. And the Vhar'tek finally understood. Earth had not declared war. Earth had declared extermination of their war machine. And humans did not bluff. Space around the Vhar'tek Dominion burned with silent fire. 3 Terran armadas advanced in flawless formation, no hesitation, no panic, no wasted motion. Their engines left thin blue trails like lines etched across the void. At their center, the dreadnought TNV Resolute cut through space like a blade forged for this moment. Every Vhar'tek commander who saw the Terran fleets approach felt the same cold realization. Humanity had been preparing for this day. 4 centuries. Warlord Graxveer's fleet, one of the Dominion's most feared, waited in orbit around the fortress planet Sukar, ready to crush the human insects. Their ships were monstrous, jagged metal spines, glowing red engines, heavy plasma cannons charged with volatile dark matter cores. But size was not strength. Not today. A Vhar'tek officer hissed, human vessels entering weapons range. Graxveer snarled, slamming a claw against the control panel. Fire everything. Break their line. Warlord, something's wrong with our targeting. Systems are. The officer never finished. A blinding blue streak tore across the battlefield. Then another. Then 100. Human rail lances, projectiles traveling at a third the speed of light, punched through Vhar'tek hulls like paper. Ships ruptured in perfect, surgical lines, their weapons falling silent before they realized they had been hit. Graxveer's eyes widened as entire cruisers simply fell apart. What technology is this? Shields should hold. But another officer screeched, they aren't aiming at our shields. They are threading between them. The humans were firing with precision beyond anything the Dominion believed possible, calculating microsecond shield flickers and exploiting them with terrifying accuracy. Every shot was intentional. Every strike meaningful. Humanity wasn't destroying the Vhar'tek fleet. Humanity was dismantling it. Piece by piece. Slowly. Methodically. Purposefully. To make them understand. Graxveer watched his proud flagship's armor peel away like skin under a scalpel. A calm female voice echoed over the comms. Warlord Graxveer. This is Admiral Talia Rains. Your empire slaughtered civilians. Children. You taught us what mercy buys. Silence. Then. Now we teach you what it costs. Every Terran battery fired. Graxveer's flagship broke apart. While the fleets tore apart the Dominion in orbit, Terran Marines descended onto Kordesh, the moon where the Vhar'tek first planned the massacre of Ashera 9. Dropships sliced through the clouds, deploying armored soldiers with polished black exosuits and glowing tactical visors. Lieutenant Eric Dawes stepped onto Vhar'tek soil, boots sinking into the ash-covered terrain. He raised his rifle. Operation Ashlight, ground stage. Targets confirmed. Move. Humans advanced silently, no war cries, no taunts. Vhar'tek defenders roared and charged, blades high. They were met with absolute, mechanical efficiency. A Vhar'tek warrior lunged. Dawes sidestepped and fired a concussive burst that sent the creature tumbling across the ground. Before it could rise, another Marine deployed an electric restraint field that pinned it down. A corporal asked, "Sir, kill it?" Dawes shook his head. "No. We don't execute. We capture." "Why?" His voice darkened. "So they have to face trial." That was the difference. The Vhar'tek killed without purpose. Humans killed with purpose. And spared with purpose too. Every Vhar'tek soldier who surrendered was disarmed and taken into custody. Those who fought to the end were neutralized with precision strikes. By the time the battle ended, the moon of Kordesh was under full Terran control, every War Council member captured alive. A message was sent to Earth. All Vhar'tek leaders responsible for Ashera 9 are in custody. Awaiting transfer. In the core system, the Vhar'tek High Protectorate gathered its last ships around their capital world, Varkar Prime. A massive defensive grid activated, orbital cannons, shield satellites, anti-fleet platforms. Their supreme warlord, Vraxtil, watched from his throne of iron. They cannot break our capital. We will show them. An officer interrupted, trembling. Supreme Warlord, the humans, they're not firing at us. What? He pointed at the holographic map. Terran ships were targeting the space around the grid, firing lances into the gaps, destabilizing the shield network, disabling infrastructure with almost surgical precision. They are cutting off our power sources, one by one. Vraxtil snarled, then fire back. We can't lock onto them. The humans moved too fast. Too quietly. Too precisely. Then the TNV Resolute appeared over Varkar Prime, eclipsing the sky. Admiral Rains opened a channel directly to the warlord. Her face was calm. Surrender your military. Return our captured research data. And release the names of every officer involved in the attack. Vraxtil sneered. Human, you threaten a sovereign empire. No. Her voice turned ice cold. I'm promising you justice. Vraxtil spat. We will never surrender. Rains nodded slightly. I know. She raised her hand. Fire. The Terran Armada launched a synchronized EMP barrage, non-lethal, non-destructive, but devastatingly effective. Every Vhar'tek defense grid failed. Every cannon shut down. Every shield collapsed. Their entire war machine went dark. Human Marines teleported to command centers across the planet, capturing officers with disorienting speed. In less than 20 minutes, the Vhar'tek Dominion, once feared throughout the galaxy, was defeated. Not annihilated. Not exterminated. But disarmed. Completely. And utterly. Admiral Rain stood on the bridge of the Resolute as reports poured in. Capital secured. Civilians unharmed. War leaders arrested. All ships disabled. No Vhar'tek civilian casualties. Rains exhaled slowly, emotion slipping through for the first time. Good, she whispered. That's good. A junior officer approached. Admiral, what about Ashera 9? The colonists? Her jaw tightened. We retrieve every survivor. Every recording. Every piece of evidence. And the dead? Rain's voice softened. We bring them home. Across the known universe, the reaction was immediate. Shock. Fear. Respect. Silence. Billions watched the destruction of the Vhar'tek war machine, done with such efficiency, such discipline, such terrifying restraint, that no species dared question Earth's power ever again. The same message echoed across every star system. Humans showed mercy. It was mistaken for weakness. Never again. In a reinforced medical chamber, under Terran guard, a single survivor from Ashera 9 opened her eyes. Dr. Mara Ellis. Bandaged. Weak. Alive. Her voice cracked. Reese. Did he? A medic placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Rest, doctor. You're safe. Earth is here. And for the first time since the massacre began, Mara Ellis cried, not from fear, but from relief. The war ended not with an explosion, but with a quiet, collective exhale. For the first time in decades, the galaxy slept without fear of the Vhar'tek Dominion. But Earth did not celebrate. Not yet. Humanity had won the war, yes. But now came the harder part. Winning the peace. Inside the newly reassigned tribunal station orbiting Varkar Prime, the war leaders of the Dominion stood in containment fields, stripped of their armor and their arrogance. Warlord Graxvir. Supreme Warlord Vraxtil. General Krekthar and his commanders. All of them responsible for the massacre of Ashera 9. The chamber was full, representatives from every major species watched the proceedings, whispering. Humans brought them alive? They defeated the Dominion and showed restraint? Maybe humanity is different. Admiral Talia Rains entered, wearing formal Terran Navy white. Every species straightened. She brought with her a single transparent cube, glowing faintly blue. Evidence. Recordings. Voices of the dead. Rains placed it on the table and spoke evenly. The Dominion believed violence showed strength. Humanity believes restraint shows mastery. Today, we choose justice, not revenge. She activated the cube. The screams echoed across the chamber. The child crying. The explosions. The silence. Every Vhar'tek leader flinched. Some lowered their heads. Some finally understood the weight of what they'd done. A representative from the Thalari Alliance spoke softly. Admiral, humanity has earned our respect. Your people could have exterminated them. Rains nodded. We don't erase civilizations. We correct them. The trials began. And the galaxy watched as humans. The species once considered unpredictable and dangerous. Delivered a standard of justice higher than any council had ever attempted. 2 weeks later, humanity initiated Operation Homefire, the recovery of every victim from Ashera 9. Every name. Every body. Every personal belonging. No one was left behind. When the final memorial ship landed on Earth, survivors and families gathered on the white stone fields of the Terran Remembrance Spire. The sun was rising. Dr. Mara Ellis, still recovering, stood supported by a medical exosuit as she walked slowly toward the crowd. Humans parted for her. Dr. Ellis raised her eyes and saw her brother, Reese, standing in the front row. Alive. She stumbled forward. He caught her in a tight, trembling embrace. I thought I lost you, he whispered. Her voice cracked. Earth heard us. He nodded into her hair. And Earth answered. Behind them, the names of the fallen shimmered across the spire's glass surface, etched forever into history. Humanity didn't let them fade. Humanity made them eternal. Weeks later, the Galactic Council, once divided, hesitant, and politically paralyzed, met for its most important decision in centuries. Every seat was filled. And at the center, for the first time ever, stood a human representative with full speaking and voting authority. Admiral Rains. A Kelthori elder addressed her. Admiral. It is the judgment of this council that humanity, through its actions, has proven itself a stabilizing force. You have defeated tyranny without replacing it with tyranny. A murmur of agreement spread across the chamber. Rains remained silent, waiting. We offer Earth a permanent role as keeper of interstellar law. A role reserved only for civilizations trusted to enforce peace. Not because they wanted power, but because they did not abuse it. Another voice added, You will lead peacekeeping fleets. You will oversee interstellar humanitarian efforts. And you will hold a veto against future acts of genocide or planetary cleansing. Rains inhaled. Humanity, entrusted with protecting the entire galaxy? A century ago, such a thing was unimaginable. Now, it was necessary. She bowed her head in acceptance. For the lost, she said. And for the living. In the months that followed, everything changed. The Vhar'tek Dominion was dismantled. Not destroyed. Rebuilt. Under Terran supervision, their civilians received the first peace, education, and medical care they had seen in generations. Human engineers and medics worked side by side with Vhar'tek families who once feared them as monsters. A child tugged on a Marine's armored leg and asked, Human, why didn't you kill us? The Marine knelt down. Because you didn't do anything wrong. And because mercy is strength. The child blinked. Then mimicked the human salute. Nations that once bickered now cooperated. Criminal empires shrank. Raider clans fled. Diplomatic channels opened where none existed before. Where fear once ruled, now there was order. And where chaos once grew, now humanity erected something else. Hope. A new beacon was built in the center of Council space, a massive holographic monument powered by quantum beam projectors. When activated, it displayed the same message across every major system. We are human. We are patient. We are kind. We are just. But harm our children. And we will show you why the stars remember our name. Admiral Range returned to Earth months after the war's end. She walked alone along the cliffs overlooking the Terran Sea, waves crashing far below. The wind was calm. The sky was clear. For the first time in years, she felt peace, a fragile, beautiful thing. Captain Dawes approached behind her. No more Dominion fleets, he said. No, she replied softly. And no more massacres. He stood beside her, watching the horizon glow at sunset. What now? He asked. Rain smiled faintly. Now? She exhaled, letting the weight of war drift away. Now we protect the galaxy we helped rebuild. A moment of silence passed. Then the Admiral whispered what would become a quiet legend, a phrase future generations would carve into monuments across the stars. Today, we stop being civilized. Only when civilization needs us to.